Reading from the Science of Mind magazine, The Daily Guides. Of course, this month's readings are by Rev Dr John Waterhouse, and he has been involved in religious science, science of mind, New Thought for probably twice as long as I have, maybe even longer than that, a long time. So he knows a lot more about it than I do. And he's been one of our leaders in Centers for Spiritual Living. So what does he have to say today? Oh yeah, the quote for today. This is a pretty good one, actually. I like it. It's from Mark Twain. He says, "You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus." Pretty good, huh? You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. And here is the reading for today. We always get who we are. Let me repeat that. We always get who we are. The first quote's from the Buddha, who says, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought. All that we are is the result of what we have thought." And Ernest Holmes says, "Life is like a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what they think into it." I think into the mirror is obviously, well, you know what that means. You're reflecting back into universal mind. Oh, and that was from the Science of Mind textbook, page 322, paragraph 4. Pretty good. And this is Reverend John, who says, "There are many metaphors used to describe how spiritual law works. We use soil, water droplets, waves, etc. All metaphors fall far short of explaining divine presence, but the image of a mirror resonates with me." That's what he says. Yeah, I'll come back to the other in a little bit. We look into a mirror and instantly we see a reflection of ourselves looking back at us. I can see how life is like that. The way we impress our physical image into a mirror seems similar to what happens when we impress spiritual law with our thoughts. Why? Because they come back to us like the image in the mirror. Our thoughts, beliefs, and expectations reflect back to us in corresponding results, such as people, circumstances, and conditions. We don't even have to know what is happening for this to be so. When our thoughts are limited or fear-based, we experience a comparable response. Some will say they knew that something was going to happen, and they will be right. A phrase I often use is, "We don't always get what we want, nor do we always get what we need, but we always get who we are." Our outer life is truly a reflection of our inner consciousness. By changing our thinking, we are indeed changing our experience. And that's pretty apt, because on the television yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, there was an interview, a very brief interview with William Shatner, who I think 2 or 3 years ago, he and his daughter were both diagnosed with a terminal disease. They were given months to live, but they're still both here today, and they're both disease-free. I think it was some form of cancer they each had. I forget what it was, the disease. Anyway, they're disease-free. And he was talking about not allowing us to be ourselves to be fear-based, because when we're fear-based, what we attract is more stuff related to that fear. But when we are filled with love and joy and hope, then that's what we tend to get more of. But the thing is, you never know what somebody's really thinking and feeling. People can put on a good show sometimes, but deep down inside, there's a lot of stuff going on that is not positive to them, and that obviously reflects back. And then Ernest, he talks here, Reverend John, he says, "We use soil, water droplets, waves, etc." They're using the metaphor of the seed in the soil. That probably of those, the most common was the seed in the soil. So the seed is our thoughts and feelings, and we implant it into the soil, which is the universal subjective mind. And then, providing that we continue to hold that image and we don't start wavering and thinking that's not possible and all the rest, providing we keep that image going, then we're in effect watering the soil and watering the seed. And then ultimately, because we do that, the universal mind brings forth what it is we put in there, or in the case of the soil, the seed turns itself into the plant. And that's what he's talking about there. I'm not as familiar with the water droplets and the waves and so on, but the seed in the soil, it was pretty common one used by Ernest Holmes and lots of others. The affirmation that we're given for today is, I am the captain of my ship, the master of my destiny, and always unfolding as it must for my highest good. I'm the captain of my ship, the master of my destiny, and always is unfolding as it must for my highest good. And that is my offering for today. I have to go now because my grandson is coming along, or one of my grandsons is coming along with his wife. They got married a few months ago, and I was lucky enough to officiate the wedding. And they're coming over this evening, and we're going to have pizza. Pizza is not my meal of choice, but there we are. I'm going with the flow. So there we are. So my knowingness for everyone is that we each reflect back to ourselves the highest and best. And so it is. And my colleague, Reverend Lisa, we'll see you tomorrow at 9:15. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully around 5 p.m. But until next time, namaste.